Oh, hello there. I was doing a bit where I pretend to read and I didn't hear you come in. I'm Matt, the host and dungeon master of Tabletop Legends, a show where myself and a group of my friends adventure through a world full of mystery, intrigue, and magic as we play 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. We stream live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Proficiency Bonus Twitch channel. If you have time, we'd love for you to join us live. Back episodes and future episodes will be available right here on the Tabletop Legends YouTube channel, with the previous week's episode going up every Monday before the live stream on Twitch on Tuesday evenings. Please, enjoy. Oh, welcome, and thank you for joining us. I am Matt. As always, I am your host and dungeon master for tonight's episode of Tabletop Legends. I want to thank everybody for joining us if you're watching live right now. We're all very excited, as with tonight's episode, we break the previous record for episodes of Tabletop Legends, which was 3 and is now 4.
Yay!
We did it! So, before we get to tonight's episode, let us knock out our customary housekeeping. I would like to thank our sponsors, Streamlabs, the Twitch affiliate program, Many-Sided Dice, and Team MZ for supporting the Proficiency Bonus channel, which includes our show and all of the other Proficiency Bonus content brought to you live on Twitch 7 days a week. I would like to thank Tabletop Legends' presenting sponsor, Marble Moon Studios and the 8th House. They are an independently and ethically sourced witchy lifestyle and home goods shop, supporting small businesses and creating a safe, inclusive space for witchy folk. They can be found at marblemoonstudio.com or shopthe8thhouse.com. That's shop the number 8 house.com. I would like to remind everybody / anybody watching, please subscribe or follow or whatever it is that you do on Twitch to Proficiency Bonus for notifications, reminders of whenever either us or any of the other fine shows on the channel go live. You can also seek out Tabletop Legends on various social media platforms. You can find us on Instagram, you can find us on Twitter, you can find us on Facebook, all at Tabletop Legends. And you can also look us up on YouTube as, very exciting, starting next week, we are going to be putting all of our backlogged episodes up on YouTube. I've been saying that was coming, and this is the time. So next Monday, that is Monday the 30th?
No. 28th.
No, Monday the 29th. Monday the 29th, episodes 1, 2, and 3. And I guess 4. Yeah, I guess episodes 1 through 4 should go up. And then Tuesday, 4:30, right here on Twitch at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, episode 5 will go live. And then from that point until the inevitable heat death of the universe, on Monday, the previous week's episode will go up on YouTube, and then Tuesday, the new episode will stream live on Twitch here at Proficiency Bonus. The audio podcast is still coming soon, so keep tuned in for that. Last couple of things, I want to give a shout out to the Zephyr Foundation. This month, as it is Autism Awareness Month, we have been working with the Zephyr Foundation to try and raise money to make a donation on behalf of Tabletop Legends. I have been instructed that I cannot give out what our rough estimates of what we raised so far are, but I will tell you it is way more than we thought we were going to be able to raise. So thank everybody throughout the course of this month of April who has donated bits to Proficiency Bonus. All of that money is going to be added to a final donation that we'll be making to the Zephyr Foundation on behalf of Proficiency Bonus and our community. The Zephyr Foundation is a local nonprofit organization which is in the area of where we film this show. that does a lot of outreach to people with developmental disabilities in our area. So we're super excited to be working with them. They were absolutely blown away by the support that the community showed, and fingers crossed, we are trying to shoot a little bit of a video, maybe Sharkarino style or some other such stuff with the folks over at the Zephyr Foundation to put up before the end of the month. So I do encourage anybody, if you have the bits to spare, please donate them throughout the evening, or throughout anybody else's shows during the rest of the month of April. There's a couple of weeks left still. All of that money will be going to a good cause. If you can't, no worries. We're just happy you're here enjoying the show. Maybe shout us out to a friend, spread the word, something like that. Anything you want to do helps, and we certainly appreciate it. The last little bit of housekeeping that I have is our Tabletop Legends. Oh, that's all. Oh, no. The Cholton Bowl is down. Our Tabletop Legends mug that we have been pitching throughout this first month of our show. Unless we hear back from the person who we gave one of these mugs away to tonight, they never reached out to us so that we could figure out where to send this when we raffled one off last week. So unless we hear from them, we're gonna give this mug away again to somebody. So we'll see how that goes throughout the episode. Stay tuned. Hopefully the it says Tomb of Annihilation for the episode.
It just got fixed.
It
said the wrong show, and then
join us as we surprise play Tomb of Annihilation in the middle of someone else's campaign.
Then Christy Mystic Warner, the host of Mystic Hour, fixed it for us.
I wasn't prepared for this.
Okay, so Carlos, go ahead and kick us over to the table cam, and we will begin the show.
Does anybody have an extra pen?
Does anybody?
I have a pen.
Ladies and gentlemen at home,
Shouldn't you have asked
we
that
have a
before we
player
started?
who is not prepared. I have a pen. Yes.
Thank you. God damn it.
A pen, or do you want a pencil?
Cool.
Here's a pen. Here's a pencil.
Thank you.
Ever
Yeah,
you need. Okie dokie.
This is professional shout. I can't believe you've done this.
I can't believe you've done this.
You've done this.
Come for the memes, stay for the D&D. Is that the other way around?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys ready? Alrighty. Here,
Mini.
you're not here right now,
There's a dog.
and the audience can't see that many, or can't see the tabletop right now, so don't worry about it. We rejoin our party in the forest to the east of Stone Mill, a small village on the northern border of the Kingdom of Mithlinde, currently gripped with terror as a series of strange deaths and disappearances have the town scrambling for answers. Pieces of the deadly puzzle have begun to fall into place as the party has now confirmed that there are reanimated, seemingly ancient dwarven zombies raised by some unknown magic for some unknown purpose, terrorizing the village. Trust is in short supply. The Mithlindian Inquisitor, dispatched to investigate the matter, has refused the group's offer to assist, forcing them to carry out their own investigation in secret. A second group of relic hunters of unknown demeanor or intention lurk somewhere about the town, likely racing to get to the bottom of the matter and be the first to abscond with whatever prize may be had. All the while, the people of Stone Mill are becoming increasingly paranoid and hostile, especially toward the limited dwarven population, as rumors of dwarven perpetrators spread like wildfire. Currently in possession of the tattered remains of a traveling pack, a single orange speckled feather, and a severed, mummified dwarven head, the party must decide what their next move will be. There are still a number of hours before dawn. Nula is currently back at the Blue Harpy. The Inquisitor's guards will likely be on high alert after the diversion the party used to sneak out of town in the first place. And the group are approaching a full 24 hours since they last took time to rest. 48 hours in the case of Brahm, who has not slept since the group's first meeting. And of course, there is the strange, independent relic hunter and talking dog, Elbidi, who, for the time being, seems content with working cooperatively with the party, though little enough time to inquire any further into her motivations, or her nature, for that matter, has been available. So it is perhaps an hour and a half after midnight at this point, and you guys are out in the woods to the east of Stone Mill.
You're in a rough predicament.
Alright, show's over.
Okay. Remember last week when she wasn't here?
Get a dunce hat for puns.
Yeah.
Fun jar.
Adam's not here tonight. Aylar.
That's why I was laughing, because it's perfectly framed and it looked like Olive was playing Aylar.
The part of Aylar will be played by Olive, the dog, tonight.
Our viewers will go up. People love
We
dogs.
will give views.
Nothing against Adam, but people love dogs.
We'll put the dice on the couch and
Yeah.
whatever she rolls onto the
Just
floor.
eat 'em.
Olive, are you playing Aylar? Yes. Okay.
There's
Anyway,
also a headless dog on the street.
Alright, so I believe Alar has the head in his backpack, unless somebody else grabbed it.
Works for me.
So,
So we need to sneak back into town.
we need
With a head.
Correct. And then
Why?
figure out what happened next.
Approximately how much does the head weigh, since it's all mummified?
All right, let's ruin my Google search with how much.
Roll
does a
for head
standard
weight.
weigh? About 10 pounds.
About 10
Roughly,
pounds?
yeah.
Okay, cool. We have two choices. We go up with the bird, or we can mage hand up out of sight.
Oh my god.
Uh,
That's the greatest thing.
I mean, I would rather just carry it in and not get noticed.
But who's gonna look at an owl at night? It's fine.
But the rest of us will
Carry
still
a
get noticed.
sack with a head in it. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's an owl with a sack. The head in a sack.
Alright. Yeah, so let's get that off Alar and send him in to get Nula. Because he's super sneaky.
How is he going to get Nula?
She's at the Blue Harpy. Super secret squirrel.
Why do we need to get Nula? We have to get back into the town
Yeah,
where she
we
is.
all need to get there.
Okay, so you want to cut through the woods? Or is there, do you think there's a better way?
What do you think the chances are they fall for that same exact distraction twice?
Probably slim. It's been, 2 hours since we
About that.
made them chase disembodied torches?
Yes, about
So
that.
then what if we do it but for real this time?
Ooh. I'm okay with that.
Can Elbidi run faster than a guard?
She's probably the only one of us that can run faster than a guard. I certainly can't.
Nope.
Albini's like, I'm pretty fast.
Let's let the dog do it.
I said.
Strap torches to a
Do
dog.
what?
We're gonna strap
Let the
torches
dog
to
distract
a
the
dog.
guard, lead the guards away.
No, I was saying we actually cast dancing lights where we are. We actually make a bunch of noise and call them a bunch of names, and we actually run off towards town obliquely away from where they are. And maybe they won't follow this time because it was a bunch of nonsense last time.
Were you dropped on your head as a child? That sounds like an easy way to get an arrow in the face hole.
Why do we have the dog distract them and then we head into town?
That's what I just said.
That's what I'm agreeing
Okay,
with.
yes.
Okay, yes, okay.
Can LBD just go up to them and interact with them, and we just walk past?
We don't want an interaction, we want a distraction.
But they might be pretty distracted by a talking
By
dog.
No, it doesn't even have to be a talking dog. It should just be a dog.
Don't want to do that.
Okay, that's fair.
want to run around?
Forgot that dogs that can talk also have free will.
I just met you guys and you seem okay, but I don't want to get in trouble. I mostly survive by not being conspicuous.
Says the talking dog.
Says the talking dog.
Cool. Okay.
I could chop a tree now.
Do you think you could pull one over on them if you went and told them that you got assaulted in the woods by some zombie dwarf?
Sure. I'll do it.
You
You
gonna
are a
bring that
bard.
No!
Okay. Alright.
Then the rest of us can try to sneak by while you're chatting with them.
Yeah.
I guess.
We did leave behind the rest of a dwarf corpse, so
You buried both of the corpses.
No, yeah, I buried them. We have the head.
well,
That's fine.
No.
that makes that difficult.
They're marked. I marked the graves.
It's going to be
So,
difficult for him to explain.
I am going to minor illusion. No, I guess I'll disguise self into like a very voluptuous and scantily clad woman. Like, I got it.
What was the name of that guard that we interacted with? The younger one.
Michael?
Michael.
Was
The
Michael.
young, like
Michael.
right in the
In the
beginning,
very beginning, like at the very entrance.
at the very entrance,
Oh, that
I
wasn't
believe
Michael.
Liam and Abner were the two. Liam was the
Liam.
younger one's name.
Do you want me to disguise myself as Liam and say that you're the culprit that was out and about in the woods?
No,
Yes,
I
or-
think
don't
I
think
can
we want
handle
that.
myself.
Okay. Alright.
If you want to also disguise yourself into a sexy lady, two sexy ladies might be better than one.
So while you're doing that, we'll head. I forget how all this is oriented. So we went east.
You
so we want
guys-
to go north past them in the woods, and then try to cut across that
You
road
guys,
to town.
you guys are currently several miles, so you're about an hour, little more than an hour and a half walk outside of like the eastern border of town, and slightly to the north, as LB kind of led you northeast as you were going.
So I think we want to stay like slightly to the north so that we can see when Braun gets there. Like split off a little when we get a little bit closer, see when he gets there, and then while they're interacting, we can try to get through.
I can do that. Do you need backup?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's more if you want to come along for the fun. I think I can handle it by myself.
Alright. So I'll try to keep an eye with the owl every so often, just to I guess shout if you need something.
We did it.
We did it. We
Go-
saved
go
the city.
team.
Planned.
Okay, so the five of us are gonna go up through the woods around, and then you're just gonna walk down the path, describe this guy as a sexy lady.
Yep. Alright.
Alright.
So the group of you make a stealth check, and Brahm, you are not being stealthy.
I would like to use Time of Chaos.
Okay.
We are off to a great start.
Yes, we
21.
18.
Okay.
Yes. 10.
Oh, LBD.
AR.
Do we?
I don't know if they count or not.
Alar is presently.
Yes,
That's
they
how
do.
I like
Somebody
it.
can roll for Alar.
I'll roll for
I have
AR.
his character sheet. And I have LB's too, I believe.
Are you though?
Should have known better. The first roll was good, and the second one was just gonna be crap.
Adam, if you're watching.
What was Alar's stealth check?
9.
Or 9, okay. And yours?
Well,
18.
nine plus whatever.
9
right?
plus
Plus
modifier, which is
yeah.
like
Modifier.
plus 6 or 7 or some nonsense.
Yeah.
So it's probably a
But
50.
they're freaking
or
character
60.
sheets.
Yeah. It's probably
Maybe a
fine.
15.
There's one on the top shelf that I can see from here.
No, that's Adam's old one.
Okay.
It should be on Beyond, on the...
Yes.
We did not
It
prepare
should
for
be.
this.
Alright.
You didn't prepare for...
I did, and I put them
Coordination.
somewhere where I'd have access to them, and then
Oh.
apparently lost them. Who knows?
Gone forever.
I don't think he set his to private. So.
Well, as DM, I have access to
Got
it.
it.
Doesn't matter.
D&D Beyond, please sponsor us.
Please.
They won't.
We love your stuff because
We-
it's super useful.
It is also.
Definitely no off-camera critique. I rolled an 8 again. I'm just gonna throw this dice out.
You should.
Thanks, Chinese.
So it was a
dice.
9 plus Alar's stealth, which is a 5. Okay. He's got a 14.
And then
That's not bad.
Did you roll?
Did somebody roll for LBD?
I will roll. Nat 20.
Okay, I don't care what her
Bah, bah,
modifier is.
Doesn't matter.
And what are you doing again?
Uh,
You're stealthing as well?
I am stealthing. I rolled a 10 total.
Okay, 10 total. Alright, so. Brahm, your disguised self lasts for 1 hour.
Okay.
So, presumably you have to wait until you're closer to do it.
Make it work.
And you are making yourself look like what?
Very curvaceous and buxom redhead with a very fancy but slutty dress with massive amounts of cleavage.
Okay.
Every guard's dream.
A lot of fancy words.
Yeah, especially cleavage. Fancy word for cleavage.
And how far to the north of like where he's approaching on the main road are the rest of you hiding?
So it
Should be a good distance.
It'll be about pre-dawn by the time we get there, which should probably be.
Not quite. I mean, still pitch black out.
So,
I can't see it.
how far away could I reasonably see him?
What is your what's your dark vision?
So I have dark vision to 120 feet, but presumably they have lights.
So once
their
you
station.
get within the range of their torches, you'll be able to see further. Other than that, you have to stay within 120 feet.
Okay, so then we want to be about 100.
You probably can't get even 120 feet is probably pushing it because you are in trees. So you can sort of make out from 120 feet. You can make out sort of the glow of a number of torches.
We saw that they were
And
holding torches.
There was some set into the ground. As you guys approach, what you see is there now appear to be more guards than there were. There was 4 when you left. You can see at least 5 at this point, and they are spread further along. So, like, if the road out is like going this way, and before they were kind of posted here, they're now. You still see 2 here. You see an additional kind of glowing blob of light from a torch about 60 feet, looks like maybe further south from you. And then one up about halfway between where like the road is and where you guys are, you see another one.
Okay.
That's what you see from where you are at least, but it looks like more guards have likely been brought in. And they are like fanned out along the perimeter at this point. So as opposed to having 120-ish feet between you and like the main road where Brahm is, you have maybe like 60 feet between you and where you see the nearest like torchlight. So what is your guys' plan as you go up that way?
It's a good question.
I have an idea. It's probably not amazing.
It's one better than me.
So, let's sit and wait and watch Brahm's disguise. If it starts to get sketchy, I'll disguise myself as some kind of fancy villager and run out of the woods like I lost the lady. Like we were
That
trying.
sounds dangerous because
Like
your
we-
stories are going to have to match, and I guarantee you that's not going to happen.
We don't have much of a choice.
But while
That's also true.
while I run out, you guys can go the opposite direction and try to, because that should be quite the distraction once he starts engaging with them. That should draw some of them, hopefully. And the rest, when I erupt out of the woods, trying to look for my lost eloped.
Alright. What's the worst that could happen?
Death. But
Last famous words.
alright, so let's just
So you
wait and
guys are
see
just
what
waiting.
from.
Alright, Brom. You approach. You get within about 100 or so feet of the little barricade where the main chunk of guards are set up. How are you, like, once you kind of are getting within eye shot of each other, what are you doing?
Okay, well, walking up in a big, like, flowy, long white dress. I have a dainty umbrella and a feather fan.
Okay.
And I'm going to, like, hurriedly rush up to the gate. Not running.
Okay.
It's the bug bunny strategy. Oh god.
So you approach. Immediately, there you see that there are 2 guards holding torches, and there are another 2 that are just like there. So there's a total of 4 guards in this like center area. And as you approach, 4 long swords immediately come out, and a voice that you recognize as the individual that identified himself as Michael before, who like shooed you guys away when you tried to leave town the first time. As they have their swords brandished at you, he says, "Halt! Who goes there?"
Well, just what I was looking for. Some boys with swords. My name is Jemima Sweet Hips, and I'm in some trouble.
Alright. You see there's like a moment of confusion as like the 4 kind of look, and the main one there, Michael, he says, "Where did you come from? What business do you have in the forest at this point at night?"
Well, I will say, my handsome gentleman, I was up the road and my carriage broke down, and we were trying to fix the wheel. And a great big beast came out of the woods and attacked us.
The like ones flanking look like very confused and extremely on edge. Michael is like staring you down very intently, and you see sort of like tilting his head, and he's like looking at you very hard. And he says, "Go on."
Well, when I saw that there was such a frightening little creature, I just ran away and I left a few of my friends, hoping to find some nice, strong gentlemen like yourselves with some pointy implements to do some damage.
What is your spell save DC?
I believe it's a 13.
13. So as you like approach here, and Michael is like staring at this, he
And
kind of
with that, I'm going to be like,
he kind of blinks a couple of times and clears his head, and you see a moment later he
gonna minor illusion, my bosom's even bigger. But like, a little bit, not like nose, not like, just a little bit.
I mean, that's
I want to
fine.
keep him distracted.
That's fine. As you do that, you see him. He basically like puts his sword away, and moves to his other hip and pulls out a pair of manacles, and he says, "You were with the group that tried to leave earlier, half-orc. I'm not deceived by your illusions. Move forward. We're taking you into custody."
Aren't you a dirty son of a bitch, Michael?
I just imagine him still fighting himself and saying that as a half-orc.
No, it was still as her, just in Brom's voice.
He seems to have seen through your illusion, and as the others kind of begin to move forward, still looking a little bewildered, he said to them, "Look carefully. He is disguising himself with magic. Don't be fooled. We'll take him into the Inquisitor, and she can sort all this out in the morning. I expect we'll have no further shenanigans from you, half-orc."
Well, I can't make any promise.
As he's moving up, he's moving up towards you to like clap irons around your wrists as you're being flanked on both sides by two other guards.
Go or no? Go or no?
You guys can make a perception check from your area to see if you can.
I'm gonna make
tell
one
what's
last
going
thing, and I'm gonna point off into that direction. And go, "Quick, googly moogly, what's that over there?"
on. Make a deception check.
60
White
for
rolls don't
perception.
pull me down.
It'd be great if you didn't add 20 right now.
18.
Okay. The three others that are with him, as they're like approaching, they like look. What is your armor class?
15.
So they like look as you like try to pull the classic, like look over there. Three of them go. Michael drops one of the manacles and punches you in the face with a gauntlet in hand.
no.
Wow.
So you take 3 points of bludgeoning damage.
What's this gauntlet made out of?
They're wearing metal.
I'm gonna heat the metal in his gauntlet.
All right.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Roll initiative.
Does that go for us too? If we're going to try to.
What was your perceptions?
No. Like if we are going to like whether we see what's happening there or not. try
Sure.
to
I'll
make
let you
our
guys
way
roll
through.
into initiative.
Just a little.
Because
Just
I
burn his hand a
definitely
little.
did not notice.
I did.
I rolled a 19. I
Guards.
noticed.
Yeah.
Probably.
Mine was a 16.
I had a 5.
Oof.
Perception checks. Okay, so. All right, let me get my monster manual out real quick.
I'm prepared for this.
I'm pretty sure I have it. I do have it marked. I'm prepared for everything, but
That sounds.
I gotta say I am
that sounds
surprised.
Like a challenge.
I am surprised.
That sounds like it's challenging us.
DM Mike says, "Dang, I promise not all Michaels are like this."
Yes, they are. I'd like to point out to our audience that Michael the guard is just doing his job.
Doing it too good.
He's just doing his job.
Damn perception rolls. That was the most convincing thing anyone's ever seen in the history of D&D. I don't know.
Right here.
That
right
was
now,
that was
was
commitment.
gold.
I committed to that.
All right. All right. So
chaos.
initiatives. 25 to 20.
21.
21. Kill. 19 to 15.
16.
16.
15.
15. Oz. 16. Brom. 14 to 10.
11.
11.
Did you need me to roll for a...
Go ahead and roll for Albini, and I'll roll for Alar. Well, Alar gets a 1, so he's at the bottom.
Is
Walter-
Alar staying out of this? I imagine he would probably want to stay out of this.
We'll say for the sake of this, Alar is like,
Yeah.
nope!
Because
Not about-
Let's just get into
He's
the.
like, I'm not about to fight crowns,
He has
assuming
the-
he's even
I
noticed.
say he has the important evidence, so it's better if he does.
Yeah, well, this
Without
will be
these-
fine.
17
I'm
plus
sure.
whatever.
Things.
Alrighty. Okay, so what was your perception check, Cal?
5.
5. Alright, so you noticed nothing. The next to react is the guards. Whoops.
Well, so I noticed nothing, but we were trying to figure
Did
out
they
how
get
to
a surprise
cross
round
the-
because they were distracted?
Who get a surprise
The
round?
guards, then I
No,
distracted.
You're going into regular initiative.
Well, so I don't notice anything, but we were trying to
No, I
figure
meant
out how
did we
to
get a
cross
surprise round on them because they were like,
No.
how
damn.
to cross the thing.
What's that?
So I don't notice that there's any commotion going on, right? But we
You
were
do
trying
not.
to figure out how to cross the
Yes.
thing.
Yes. So you basically see, like I said, there's a guard, or the torch indicating where a
Should
guard
I
is.
roll that damage since that happened, the heat damage?
Yeah, that's fine.
I think it's 2d8.
About 60 feet-ish to the south of you. From which you can see where you are.
Can I use prestidigitation
Okay.
to snuff a small candle or torch?
Sure.
Yeah, I should have just cast suggestion.
So, the torchlight goes out. And you hear a female voice give out a cry like, "Ah! What?"
I would like to book it across the street.
Alright, so make a stealth check. At disadvantage if you're running.
Well, he does a whopping 2
Well,
damage.
that's a 1, so...
Oh, 1. Okay.
So I'm not gonna roll the other one.
Alright,
Sticks
so
to the
that's
plan.
Kel. You guys kind of hear Kel sort of mutter something and cast a hand in the direction of the nearest torchlight, and you see it go out. And then you hear him very noisily begin to run through the underbrush in the direction of town. Okay, so the guards. Brahm. 4 guards simultaneously attempt to tackle you. Let's see. 2 natural 1s and 2 natural 17s. So that is a...
Can we imagine a way in which this could have gone?
So that's 2
Better?
20s. I assume... So the... Basically, all of this goes down very quickly. Guard Michael sees through your disguise. They begin to approach you to take you into custody. You try to, like, pull a fast one. And then Michael, like, haymakers you and is, like, preparing to basically, like, tackle you down.
His hand.
As he, like, pulls back his hand, his gauntlets, like, glows cherry red. He goes, you hear, like, this sort of, like, he goes, ah! And he flings the gauntlet down and hits the ground with like, and then, simultaneously, the 4 of them just, like, bum rush you. 2 of them do sort of, like, bang shoulders into each other and can't quite get, like, a good grip on you. But Michael and one of the other ones, another female, basically, like, it's like if you ever see a guy get hit in football, where, like, one dude gets the guy in the legs and then the second guy comes in and, like, hits the top of you. So you just get, like, clotheslined in 2 directions. And they're going to, so they basically just, like, are now grappling you, and they're going to attempt to clap you in irons. And it is your turn. So you are restrained currently, as 2 guards are.
Well, have they gotten them on me yet?
They have not yet.
Can I make, I don't know if it's a sleight of hand check or a strength check to try and quick, like, Houdini maneuver the manacles onto one of them?
Sure. I will say you can make a contesting sleight of hand check against Michael, who is currently holding the manacles.
How are we going to explain this to Nula later?
I don't know. What have we done?
They didn't respect our authority as deputies.
14.
14? Okay. So, there is now a tussle. The second 2 have, like, recoiled off each other, and they've thrown themselves on you. There is a big, just, like, scrum going on, and you're basically, like, they're struggling to restrain your limbs and try and, like, get a hold of you. You feel the... one of them slaps around your wrist. But you're wrestling as you feel the other one, like, approaching. You quickly, like, twist your arm backwards and, like, end up wriggling around in such a way that you, like, shoulder the other cuff, and you feel it, like, You now find yourself manacled to one of the other guards.
Great. Did we both roll 14s?
Yes.
Great! Can just one thing go vaguely according to plan?
One of the guards, like through their teeth, is like, "This is going to be much worse if you keep resisting. Stay still."
Yeah, well, you're ugly.
So you're booking it to town.
Yep.
What are we doing here?
It is Osrius' turn.
I mean,
We're fighting
At
a
this
flame.
point-
It's not
at
my
this
time
point,
to react.
You hear there's like the scrum has broken out because there's like now that they've all tackled each other, like you can tell
Are
something's
they
going something's
within
going on.
120 feet of
They're
me?
120 feet away from you. Kel is like you can't see Kel because you can't see in the dark.
I did forget that if I put that out, none of you would be able to see.
Right. So Kel, yeah. In fact, Kel has left the two of you alone with Elbidi and Alar, and neither of you can see each other.
Taylor,
So,
I have my left
you have
side
your owl.
camera.
was the handcuffing my action or was that bonus action?
That would be your action.
They're how far away from me right now?
I'm just gonna aim for the sound.
The sound of this stuff is about 120 feet away from you. You know there's a guard about halfway between that distance, but you don't have any semblance of a clean line of sight or anything because it's all trees and stuff.
Is disguise still for concentration?
No.
Yeah, so just so everyone knows, I'm still...
You're
A
still a
woman.
lady.
Oh, and actually, make a concentration check for when he punched you because he did punch you.
It's not a concentration.
Oh, it's not a concentration.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a 1 hour.
I see.
Like I am looking different for a little bit.
Okay.
Then I'm going to move 30
Still-
feet up and then
Jemima's sweet hips.
pick up a pretty big boulder or rock, like a good medium-sized rock.
Make an investigation check.
Throw it
See if
in
you
there.
can find a
We're
rock.
gonna kill her Crockham.
Throw it in the general.
At disadvantage, you can't see.
Throw it in the general direction.
Just going a rock at the noise.
Yeah. 11.
Okay, so you are able to find like a cantaloupe-sized rock.
Okay. I'm gonna throw it.
At him or at
And then
like where you saw Kel put the light out on the other
yeah,
guard?
where I
Okay.
saw the kill.
All right, go ahead and make an attack roll. Range attack roll. Improvised weapon, so it's just your d20 plus your dexterity.
Okay. It is 18.
18. Okay. Miraculously, blindly Hail Mary a rock into the darkness, and like a split second later, you hear a dull like, and you hear a woman's voice kind of cry out like, "Ah! We're under attack!"
Alright. I'm waiting
And
to
roll
push it.
initiative for the rest of the guards that have just joined the.
I'm going to wait in the bushes and just. It just.
It's like this whole
all they've done is make it worse at every possible
this whole
turn.
session has been a barrel of hammers rolling down a staircase. I'm almost out of spell slots too.
Alrighty. So, Walter. You're not sure what happened, but something, like, it definitely just got worse.
I
That much.
like the little bit I could see. I just saw the Goliath just like book it into the darkness, and
Pretty
then a
much.
loud dong as a.
And, like, it's like a shit, like a cry, and you hear, like, further movement beginning.
Oh jeez.
Stick to the plan.
Stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. Hold on.
It went so wrong so fast. I don't know that it was ever right.
None of us
50-50.
consulted with any
It was
of
a
the other ones.
50-50 chance.
I'm gonna disguise myself as Matic,
Okay.
the sheriff.
Okay.
Oh, great.
I'm going to run out of to the edge of the woods,
Okay.
just the edge of the woods, and I'm going to shout at the guards to stop because I sent them out. Or I sent him out. I sent him out.
So you're running towards him.
Yes. As best as I can tell. what
What's
the
your
muscle is.
dash? Your disguise self is an action, right?
Disguise self is an action.
So you
I can move 30 feet.
So you can move 30 feet. So you are still
30-ish feet away.
no. You're like
A lot.
90 feet from.
All right. Minor rewind then, because I thought I was closer.
You're about
You're
60.
you're 60 feet from the one that just got brained with a rock.
Okay.
That you don't know about.
I'm gonna shout, I am an official deputy! You get your hands off me!
Okay, no. So what's gonna happen? I'm just gonna run to where the lady got domed, and in my best impression of Matic.
First off, make an investigation check at disadvantage to see if you can figure out where she even is.
Okay. Okay. Number 1 is investigation is +3, 16, and a 6.
A 6. Alright. You crash into the woods and are confused as to where you now are in comparison to everyone else.
Sweet.
But you look like the sheriff.
In the
that's
dark.
Dark.
Cool.
What is happening right now?
What
What is going on?
Okay, yeah, so I am disguised as the sheriff. I'm trying to make my way in the general vicinity of somewhere. No idea how far in any direction I've gone. I've gone my full 30
You can at least orient yourself towards the main road because there's still torches lit down.
Okay, yeah, I went.
So that's at least like
I went in that general direction, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's up to you how many feet away from my actual direction I end up.
You went towards it. You just didn't come across that guard that you're looking for.
Okay.
Are you still like shouting?
I'm gonna wait till I'm invisible before I shout.
Alrighty.
gonna-
So,
Yeah.
the other guards are gonna take an action now. Walter, about 35-ish feet from you, you hear the sound of the sharp, like metallic sound of a like a dagger being struck against like a flint, and there's like a and you see the torch of the guard that Kel put out re-illuminates. So about 35 feet from you, there is now a guard who has just relit her torch and is sword in hand. She's like looking around. And are you making any attempt to be like concealed?
No, the
Okay.
exact opposite. I'm trying to make myself as conspicuous as possible.
Okay. So
Dressed
she immediately
disguised as a sheriff.
All right. She immediately spots you then and starts coming towards you with her sword out. So she can move basically right up to you. But that's all she can do this turn. All right. Elbidi is like kind of watching all this, and she goes, "Okay, hanging out with you guys was a mistake, so I'm gonna go." And she runs northeast.
These guys are real weird.
That's the smartest
She's
choice
just,
that any of us
she's
have
just
made.
like, you know what? Never mind. I'll catch you guys later.
Okay,
She
bye.
runs.
The smartest choice that any of us
Yep.
made all night.
Good dog.
In the future, when my spell save is higher than 13, maybe something like this will work.
Right?
Alar similarly is like, this went so pear-shaped. He says, I'm just gonna let's try and not all get caught together. He kind of says, sort of towards the like receding backs of everybody who's running away from him, and he similarly actually backs off like sort of eastward, and he's gonna attempt to just like hide it out in the woods at this point. So the two of them back away. That's what they're gonna do, and they are, unless they get found, they are out of the fight. All right. Top of the round, Kel. What are you doing? Nobody seems to have noticed you yet, as your companions seem to have done a fantastic job of.
Am I in the torchlight?
Were you running towards the main road or just
No,
towards town?
I was running towards town.
So there are. What's your dash speed there? 50 feet.
It should be 50 feet.
So you probably have another 50 feet to go before you like break the tree line, and then it's about not a lot of like cover once you get to that point. It's sort of like the converging caravan trails and some like sort of cleared area. The houses and buildings don't start for another 70, 80 feet or so to like the very edge of town, where like that the Turner residence is like that easternmost town. So you're about 50 feet from the edge of the trees, and then you've got like kind of an open dash to try and hide if you're gonna just keep going east, unless you were to like loop north along the tree line up to where the like the cliff face is that backs the town, and try and like sneak in that way. You could do that.
So how poorly do we want this to go?
Just make it to town.
Yeah, just
Yeah, I'm just gonna go for town.
Okay. So you can dash. You can still try and be stealthy if you want to.
We're still gonna try to be stealthy.
Okay.
I don't think I just want to go for it. That is a 12.
Okay. Alrighty. So the
Someone's gotta
guards.
get into a tell her that we're all in jail.
The guards are basically just going to, at least the 4 on you, are just going to continue to try and hold you down. So that's all they're doing this turn. Until you, like, stop resisting or prove that they have to, like, incapacitate you somehow. Which brings us to your turn. What are you doing?
okay. I'm going to. They're within 120 feet. Like most of the group.
Everybody, Walter and Osrius are at this point.
Okay.
The others have all gone
Gonna
elsewhere.
send a message to Oz. Yo, Oz. Things got real bad down here.
It's like 25 words, I think, right?
Just head to town. Bail me out later.
Okay. So you hear the voice of Brahm in your
How many
head.
words was it?
I believe it was
Does tell everyone else fit? 3 extra words?
yes.
Okay. That's all I got. Tell everyone else.
Tell everyone else gets you to 20.
That's
I
the
believe.
limit of words is not actually one card.
Hold on.
It is
I have the
25.
It is
full
25.
Okay.
Well then, these bullshit cards.
Are you doing anything else with your turn? Are you
I'm
like...
gonna stop
Okay.
resting. But I'm not changing form yet.
All
Fine,
right.
if you guys aren't gonna get your hands off a lady.
All right, Osrius. What are you doing?
Get a text message in your brain.
After getting the text message, I will attempt to move quietly out of the forest to town.
Okay. Then roll a stealth check.
There's a lot going on, so
Yeah.
hopefully you can sneak out.
20, not natural.
Okay.
Thank God.
He was like, I was a little worried about you.
This enormous guy is like,
I'm just like crab crawling.
He's like, I'm gonna sneak out of your stuff. He rolls a 1, literally knocks over the forest. Like,
the whole
dominoes the whole forest. Whoops.
Well, luckily for Osrius, Walter has made so much noise and drawn so much attention to himself that he actually is able to like move off away from the commotion. Walter, it is your turn, and you have a guard
in my face.
in your face.
As Maddock. Madam, the orc escaped. Have you seen him? I chased him out of the town, and I lost sight of him in the woods. Have you seen him anywhere?
Make a deception check.
Both pretty good at deception.
Did you use the dice that you should have
He
done?
rolled the 2.
Roll the 2.
I rolled a 2,
What's your
but
modifier?
it's a total of 7.
Oh boy.
Yay.
My fate lies in the hands of a 7.
Well, she actually pauses for a minute, and she goes, "Sheriff." But on her turn, she failed. She failed her perception or her wisdom
Dumb beat.
detect motive, whatever it's called in 5th edition.
Yep.
But it is now her turn, and she is going to use her action to investigate your illusion here. What is your spell save?
13.
So you confuse her for a second,
No.
but then she similarly sees through the
world's
illusion.
smartest guards.
You're supposed to be fodder.
Yeah.
the illusion, and she kind of like brings her longsword out in front of her. She says, "Don't move."
Just Brian.
She doesn't know what you look like.
She does. She's seen through the illusion.
No, she does.
Double minor illusion.
Yeah, I mean,
Suggestion.
it's still her turn. Like, I can't do anything else on my turn, right? Unless-
It is still her turn.
Cry. Just cry.
Uh,
That's what I should have done. Should have cried.
Started crying?
Yeah. Should have cried.
Is wetting myself a bonus action?
Roll for pee pants.
all right, Kel, you seem to have made it like away enough that you think you're in the clear.
So how far am I from like town proper, like buildings and wagons and whatever?
Another like 10 seconds, 15 seconds of running.
All right, so then
But you don't see anybody like looking in your direction. They seem to be pretty well distracted by Brom and Walter back there.
so I'm gonna keep running, but I'm looking for like a covered wagon or something
Okay.
that I can just like hide in for maybe half an hour while things cool down.
Sure.
Bale of hay.
Yeah, like anything that's small enough that I can fit in that they're not
Two
gonna...
dudes on a bench. A bunch of monks walking by. Just gotta blend in.
Okay, make a perception check.
6.
Okay.
This
Every-
is a covered wagon.
Everything
You
that
don't
you
want
see
buttons.
seems conspicuously difficult to.
I'm definitely feeling
hide.
paranoid.
You're like, as you continue to move off. All right, so that's what you do. You've kind of like reached the border of town, though, at least at this point. Brom, the 4 guards on you, takes them a moment. They unmanacle the guard that you managed to slip the cuff on. They bring your arms behind your back and slap the other cuff onto you. Michael gestures to one of the others who you don't recognize from before. He says, "Bring him back to the camp. The Inquisitor can deal with him in the morning."
Just moaning under the
No,
pressure.
I meant like we wanted to check the camp out.
Okay, so
All part of the plan.
he like the guy kind of takes you sort of into custody, and he says, "Hold a minute before we need to make sure the area is clear." So you're not doing anything, right? You've stopped resisting Ernest, yeah? Okay.
Stop resisting arrest.
They beat Osrius, or they beat Brom up and they plant drugs on him.
You saw him. He had a knife.
Okay, Osrius, what are you doing? For the
Gonna
time
keep,
being, you don't think anybody's spotted you.
Okay. Keep moving towards the town and try to find my way to the Blue Harpy. Actually,
Okay. Make a stealth check.
another one. There it is. 10.
10. Okay.
The DM is.
He's always like, okay, before he rolls and destroys your universe.
You got lucky.
Ooh,
You don't hear any shouts or any pursuit.
We have the competent guards over here.
Yeah.
You're fine.
No, it's more
Meet
that
the
it's
SEAL
more that-
Team 6 of guard.
it's more that they're at disadvantage because they're dealing with you guys. So you guys basically gave Kel and Oz the opening to escape.
Yay.
Okay, so you make it to the village.
Awesome.
All right, Walter, what are you doing? You have a guard pointing a sword at your face and has told you to halt, basically.
Eat my shorts.
No. So, I'm going to immediately surrender and tell her that I just needed to run down my friend before he got himself into trouble. We just left, and we're not supposed to be out here, but he just had to go out, so I tried to run him down. I figured disguising myself as the sheriff might get me a little bit past you guys to get him back, but, I apologize.
You lot have made a series of increasingly stupid decisions tonight, then, haven't you? Hands behind your back.
And then dismiss the disguise.
And she similarly pulls out a pair of manacles, and she goes, "Nothing funny, no magic." And she moves into clap you in irons as well.
Yep, I'm not resisting.
Nothing
Alright.
funny. And he's got like the glasses with the nose.
All right. So, Kel, Oz.
Sorry. I had, 2 turns ago, I had, what's her name, go away before I started talking to the guard. She's just up in a tree.
Who has the head?
Alar.
Hilar. He disappeared into the woods.
He's
Yeah,
he's
to be
peacing out.
seen
So,
Who had the feather?
Probably
Kel,
him too.
I'm 90% certain Kel has everything. Or not Kel, Alar.
Okay. That
I
sounds,
didn't take
that
anything.
sounds correct.
Kel and Osrius, after a very paranoia-filled and tense passage back through the entirely deserted streets of Stone Mill, as none of the townspeople are going out after dark. It is the dead middle of the night, and it seems that your guys' shenanigans have pretty much lured every one of the Inquisitor's troops to that area. You make a trip back to the Blue Harpy.
Yep.
You enter. There is almost nobody in the tap room at this point. An individual is behind the bar that you don't recognize. It's not Ollie. It's another somebody else that works in the bar. Couple of patrons drinking into the wee hours of the night. But Nula, who did go to bed at 6:30, is down in the tap room, awaiting your guys' return as the two of you enter.
Oh, I'm not asleep.
You're not asleep, no. You went to bed very early before, so you've awoken at this point.
So I am walking up to you, clearly panicked and not okay.
He's very sweaty.
We need to go to your room right now. Right now.
What?
Right now.
Are
No,
you okay?
no,
Okay.
no, no,
Okay.
no,
Alright,
no.
alright, come on. Come on.
I think the little one's scared.
We need to talk in private right now.
Yeah. We're
Okay,
going.
okay.
We're going. Where's everyone else?
Room? Room.
He's gonna tell her he likes her. Don't just like you, I like you.
Alright, so can we get away from the tap room?
Easy enough.
Is Adria's following us, or?
Yeah.
Alright.
Obviously.
And
So
Alar is probably with them as well at this point.
He's in the woods.
He's in the woods.
No,
He's
be
in
back.
the woods.
Be back.
So as soon as you close the door, I have panic wheezing. Nula, the stupid guards wouldn't let us out of the town, so we tricked them, and then we went to the woods and we found a talking ninja dog. Then we found a zombie dwarf, and then we tried to go back into town.
He's not wrong. I would have told it a little differently, but he's not wrong.
Okay,
Set the report cards.
take.
It's like cry laughing.
Well, it works.
The question is this in character or is it not? The answer is yes.
It works.
Your face is smiling, but you are also streaming tears.
Take a moment. I like take a blanket, wrap him up in it.
Okay, let me explain.
And then Bram turned himself.
Brom,
What? No.
Brom,
Can we get like a panic gnome recap of the stories from now on? This is amazing.
Brom and Walter got caught at the entrance to the forest. They thought they could illusion themselves past it. We all ended up splitting up. Albedi, the black dog, is gone. Alar's still in the woods.
We lost the dog?
The dog didn't want to do much with us at that point. So,
You did get yourselves caught.
they got themselves caught.
Point of order, we did not get caught. Everyone else is going to jail, and we ran here.
And we think the jail might be in the camp.
Wait, back up. Zombie dwarf?
Yes, there were zombie dwarves in the forest that we found.
Is that what's been attacking everyone?
To as much as I can guess, Alar does have a head of it in his bag at the moment that we should probably take.
Well, he has it, and he might have gotten caught for all we know.
Alright.
Brom did send me a message to go back to town and we can figure it out.
Well,
Hopefully Alar got that too, and that he shows up in time to be helpful.
contrary to the rest of the party's ideas, we're gonna follow the rules where there's a curfew, so we're gonna wait till morning.
Is it
and
an official curfew?
Not to your knowledge.
oh, it's not.
People just don't go outside. There's not a. You are not allowed to be outside.
Oh, there's not a.
We can't leave town. We broke that rule.
We did break that rule.
It's rather spectacular.
Pretty amazingly, if I do say so
that could
myself.
have gone
Did I
worse.
know they were attempting to get out of town?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We told you and you were like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to go nap.
Didn't want to get myself involved in this bad decision. Well, we're gonna wait till morning. We'll go to the sheriff's office, and honesty is
I
the
don't think
best.
the sheriff has anything to do with this. I think it's the Inquisitor.
Good.
But they were hiding things.
They were hiding what?
They probably got a zombie dwarf back at their camp. Because
More
Morgan and Scooter smelled something bad in their camp. I think it's a zombie dwarf.
She might not know about Scooter.
Who's Scooter?
No, she was there when
She
he
was there when he
you
was
know.
They were there.
She
Alright.
knows about Scooter.
Alright, well, in the
It would be
morning,
better if she didn't know about Scooter.
we're gonna talk to the sheriff.
I don't think it's his jurisdiction.
Yeah, but he.
Besides, I don't think he'd want to be involved when a bunch of his deputies got arrested by the Inquisitor's guards.
But his deputies found information relating to the crimes that have been happening in
But we
his
have no
town.
idea what any of it means yet.
No, we don't. But we.
And we're not going to unless we get the Inquisitor to let us do things.
But I think getting on the sheriff's good side will
I
help
think
us.
we should try to extort the Inquisitor into letting them go. They're hiding the fact that there are zombie dwarves and not telling the townspeople that they're in imminent danger.
I think
I don't think the townspeople would be too pleased that the Inquisitor is keeping that from them.
if it gets to there, yes. But let's first try to use peace and diplomacy and forgiveness. What do you think?
What are we forgiving?
Or asking for forgiveness.
Why are we asking for forgiveness? They wouldn't
Why?
let us out of town to investigate their problem.
Why would I ask for anybody for anything of this, what you call forgiveness? I do believe we need to do something, but time is kind of the essence that we don't really have.
So what would you think? Running out in the middle of the night? That just might
I
make
didn't
us look
say
more
that.
guilty.
Oh no,
I
we
didn't
should
say that.
take the night off.
Okay.
We were always here,
We'll look with a
and
fresh
we'll
pair
find
of
out
eyes
what happens in the
morning.
morning. I imagine that the Inquisitor is going to send people to talk to us because they know that we're all.
They
associated
know
with
that
the
we're
evil.
all together.
All right.
They will
So
come to us.
should we tell whoever they send that we found, or you found?
No, we shouldn't tell anyone anything until we are talking to the Inquisitor.
Okay. Does that mean that you guys were here all night?
I mean, as far as we're concerned, I think we were here all night.
Yep.
It would be best if you just didn't say anything about that.
All right. I guess we'll go to bed for the rest of the evening. Try to get some sleep. Just, do you need some water before bed?
I've never seen someone cry that much.
Are you saying he kissed himself and he's now dehydrated?
I've seen a lot of people weep, but I've never seen someone weep like that.
Do you need something from the bar below?
Definitely not. That sounds like a terrible idea.
That sounds like a great idea. I leave to go down to
Alright. So, you two are sleeping?
Yeah.
You are drinking?
Only for like a little bit, then I'm gonna go to sleep.
Okay.
I want at least one drink, and then go to sleep.
Okay. Not a problem. Easy enough to do. Meanwhile, back outside.
Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom.
Back outside on the perimeter of
Get
town.
that.
The Fortress of Solitude.
So, Brom, you are shackled. They've basically
Has it been an hour yet?
No.
Okay,
not
still a
quite.
woman.
Still a woman. You are shackled.
Still a woman.
It's not like they can see through it at this point. So like, you're not actually fooling anybody, but sure, still a woman.
To the people I'm rolling up on.
You've been shackled. They've got you like basically sitting down in the grass besides the caravan trail under guard, while they you see the four that you saw, two others come over, like a total of from what you can see, there's at least 8 dudes who were in this area, and they kind of like are fanning out and just searching the entire like perimeter and like out to the east. A minute or two like after you've been sitting there, a female, one of the home guard, like marches up, a very like chagrined looking Walter, and like plops him in the grass next to you, and walks away to continue the patrol route. So you're both like in the grass next to each other, but shackled.
The guards that were marching me, were they? I assume they were carrying torches, right?
They're not marching you anywhere.
But before, like when they brought on the way here. They brought me to
You're
camp.
still where they caught you.
Oh! They're just sitting
We're
somewhere
just on
around.
the side of the road. and
They've
there's,
not
like,
they've not
torches
brought you.
heading
Yeah,
back to town.
no time has passed, or where we've reverted back in time. This is what's happening to you guys while they went back to the inn and slept. So you're like on the side of the road where they caught you. They bring Walter over a minute or two later, and they're like conducting a thorough search to see if they find anybody else out there before they bring you back to the Inquisitor.
Are any of the guards holding torches?
Yes. The one who is guarding you is not. There are 2 torches like in the side of the road, but any of the ones who are like moving out and about, going around, all have torches.
A gesture to whoever the closest guard is. I'm gonna, like, with my mouth go into my shirt, like jacket pocket, and pull out a cigar. And I'm like, "Hey, can you help a lady out?"
Make a persuasion roll with disadvantage.
So, as a woman, is it tucked into your bosom?
Yes. 15. Sorry.
So the one watching you like stares at you for a second, and he says, "If I do, will you be quiet for the remainder of this event?"
Maybe.
He like leans the torch just enough to like light your cigar. He says, "I am not opposed to running you through if need be. Do not cause any further trouble."
Hot.
And at that point, like, you turn back into an orc. Your spell runs out.
Rather conspicuously, I can't believe you actually ran out on that dare and think you do it. I guess I owe you a couple silver now.
Yep. Can't believe you were stupid enough to also get captured.
I mean, I let you run out here. It was late. I didn't think there would be this many.
Well, you should have thought better.
Alright, so if,
I'm gonna like blow his smoke. Actually, I can't.
You can't. You
I'll
can't
just
have your
blow, like, blow the smoke directly into the side of his face.
While the guards aren't paying attention, I'm going to dismiss the
Okay. Takes about 30 minutes for the guards to kind of satisfactorily conduct their search, and then one who you have not seen before, comes up, and he and Michael have a quick discussion, a little bit of ways from you and kind of like too low for you really to make out the words. The one who you don't know the name of yet appears to outrank the other kind of standard guards there. He seems to be giving some instructions to Michael and to some of the others. And then he turns around and with the guard who has been with you, who lit your cigar for you, he gestures at the both of you. Right. Up you go. We're going back to the camp.
Yeah,
I will stand up.
quietly comply.
2 guards escort you. Back to the Inquisitor's camp that you had passed in the beginning. They bring you into one of the tents that are there. So you see the camp is roughly arranged in like a circular pattern. They have some hastily erected kind of barricades establishing a perimeter. They have constructed a pen towards the sort of southern border of it, where you see they've got their like collective horses are all just sort of penned up in that area. There are a couple of watch fires that have been set. A number of logs have been chopped down and arranged like around the fires for the guards who are not currently on duty to sit down and relax by the fire. There are a half a dozen or so tents. One of them is significantly larger than the others and a little more ornate. Gives you the sense that it's like the command tent or the Inquisitor's tent probably. They take you to a tent which there's just like a couple of bedrolls and a few like things of personal belongings, which the one guard goes ahead of you guys and like clears the things out of it, and they direct you to sort of go inside, and the one who seems to be a little more in charge kind of looks in at the two of you and he says, "Right, you're going to stay here. You're going to keep quiet, and in the morning the Inquisitor will come and deal with you."
We're just in a tent
Just in a tent.
with shackles.
Shackled, yes.
Just like to ourselves, we're not like bound to a post.
Not
or
bad. They
anything.
didn't bind you up to a post or anything like that. He says, "There will be a guard posted outside your doors, or outside the tent. I strongly suggest that you do nothing to make your situation worse for yourselves than it already is. Are we clear?" Good. And he steps back out of the tent. The flap is kind of closed, and you can sort of see through the dim glow of the firelight that there is a figure standing out in the front of the tent. Are you guys doing anything during the period of time that you are here? You have a couple hours basically until dawn.
I'm gonna attempt to rest and regain some of these hit points that the zombies jacked me up with.
Okay. You can basically get a short rest.
Let's use up the hit die to regain.
If you want to burn hit die, you can burn hit die.
I'm going to attempt to pick my way out of that.
Okay. Do you have thieves' tools?
I should. Yeah.
Are we all getting a short rest?
Yes. Well,
You guys can decide. You have the option
Yes.
to take a long rest if you want to. It'll just mean you get a later start in the morning.
Long rest would be fine.
I also,
unless
if
someone
it might
can
work
get us,
better,
like, we're
could
gonna
use the
Yeah.
the cufflink of my cufflink.
We'll try that.
I would like to
Make
raise
a sleight of hand to try and pick your way out of your manacles.
I got 4 hit dice.
19.
Okay.
2.
You successfully unclasp one of one of your arms from behind you, but when you go to pick the other one, your pin breaks in the lock. So you did free your arms, but you've got one shackle attached to you still.
Okay.
Okay. So that's what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm
Alright.
gonna attempt to sleep after that. So I haven't
Same
slept
shit.
in 48 hours.
Yeah.
So for hit.
Ooh, you should have been at disadvantage with that because you're already exhausted. Roll that again.
It's still a 15 then.
So at 15, you get you do not get out of your handcuffs at all. So you're still chained. Bitch.
Sorry for rest. Can I just burn?
You
hit
burn
die
as many as you want.
So I can roll and then try again. Try again. Okay.
All right. So as you guys take your short rest, that seems like as good a place as any to take our break for the night, since it's a decent kind of pause in the action here. So
Everybody's resting.
when we return, we will see what happens as the party has gotten themselves into quite the pickle.
Quite the pickle.
All right. So stick around. We'll be back in 5 to 8 minutes, and we will see how things go. Send us a break. Hello, welcome back. We last left our party as they enacted what may go down in history as the worst plan of all time.
It was a reverse heist. It's fine.
A lot of valor.
4 out of 6 of us got away.
Yeah.
It's true.
Or just ran
And
away
to
from
point
the,
out, it wasn't my plan. I just said yes.
or just
So-
ran away from the situation completely. There's that too.
Okay. Well, this half of the table is currently resting until the morning, or until a bunch of
Come kicking down
home
our
guards
door.
come kick down the door, whichever happens first.
Yep.
Alar is somewhere out in the woods. His fate is unknown. Elbidi, the talking dog, got one look at your guys' tactical prowess and has pieced out.
Yay.
And Walter and Brahm, you are currently in the custody of the Nithlindian Home Guard and Inquisitor Liana Highhaven, awaiting questioning in the morning, which is right now.
Nobody knows. What Jesus.
You guys catch what rest you can. You manage, with your couple of hours of sleep, you manage to stave off taking, Brahm in your case, another level of exhaustion, Walter in yours a first level. But Brahm, you do not recover from that first level of exhaustion. So you're a little bleary, a little foggy, as the light outside the tent steadily begins to brighten as day breaks. The tent flap is drawn back, and the sort of ranking-looking guard from the night before has his head down to look in your guys' directions as he's sort of leaned in as much as he'd opened it, and he says, "Right, on your feet. The Inquisitor will see you now." He peels the tent the rest of the way open, just like straightening up, and moves aside for you guys to walk out of the tent.
What was the Inquisitor's name?
Inquisitor Liana Highhaven.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
She is a high elf.
Oh, high elf.
I put my pencil somewhere.
Alright. Stealthy, back, party, prom, sexy lady. Alright, fail.
Fail. Alright, so you're no funny business, I assume, or you?
Nope.
Alright. The individual leads you out of the tent that they had kept you in. You see that it looks like a good number of the guards who you had seen last night are now back in the camp. There's a large cook pot has been put over one of the fires, and you can sort of smell some sort of porridge or oatmeal or something seems to be being cooked for breakfast in the camp. The guard leads you over to that large, more ornate tent that you had seen the night before, and he walks over to the entrance. There are like a set of large double flaps. They're drawn closed. He walks up to the entrance of the tent and he calls in, "Inquisitor, the two that we caught in the woods last night, I brought them as requested." And you hear the voice of the Inquisitor from within. She says, "Thank you, Lieutenant Cross. You may show them in. I will see them now." And he pulls back one of the tent flaps and ushers you guys inside, following in behind you and letting the flap close behind him. So once again, you see the Inquisitor. There seems to be like a simple sort of writing desk set up at one the back end of this tent, facing you. There is a cot off to one side where it appears that the Inquisitor sleeps, and a small table where it looks like she takes her meals. But the table that she sits behind in front of you now is just laden with various papers and what appears to be like letters, and you see, you just kind of catch a glimpse of what looks like maybe maps. But she walks around the table as you guys are brought in to stand in front of it, as she folds her arms sort of into the small of her back and looks at you appraisingly for a moment. And she says, "You were with the group who were rather insistent that they had business in the town that they needed to attend to. I agreed to let you enter, and if I remember correctly, I was rather specific that you were not to leave while my investigation was ongoing. Have I misrepresented any part of our initial conversation thus far, gentlemen?"
No.
"Then, please, enlighten me. Why is it that you were in the woods to the east of town in the dead of night, creating all manner of distractions for my guards who are trying to protect the border of this town? Why did you burn one of my guards' hands, resisting their orders? And why were you impersonating an officer of the law here in town?
I'm going to answer all those questions with another question. You got a dwarf problem, huh?
She looks at you for a second. I take it you had an experience in the woods.
You could say that.
And had it occurred to you that it was my opinion that while I investigate the source of this dwarf problem, as you say, the safest course of action for the well-being of the people of this town was to protect the border from whence they seem to be coming, and not incite a panic and allow every half-cocked hero or adventurer to go traipsing off in the dead of night.
Well, to be fair, we're not necessarily half-cocked, because we did kill that thing, so we're more kind of full-cocked. I don't know about him. I can only speak for myself there. But it seems you've got quite a problem that has gotten a little out of hand, and in our own little way, we were offering our own little special brand of help.
Your own brand of help. I
Yeah,
must
we
say,
figured if we do your job for you, you could take all the credit. What do we care? Or if we die, we die. What's the deal?
or if you die, whatever necromancer is raising these creatures reanimates your corpse and adds to the creatures assaulting the people of this town. But we're getting off track.
We are, because to the best of my knowledge, necromancy is not legal. It hasn't been heard of for a generation.
It is highly irregular. Hence why we have been investigating. If there is a necromancer behind this, they clearly have ill intent as people are being attacked. You say you encountered a creature of an undead nature.
Yeah.
Where?
2, actually.
I buried them. I marked them that I'd notice, but unless we leave here, you'll never find them.
She, raises both eyebrows. Are you attempting to power play me right now?
I don't know what he's attempting to do, but he speaks for himself. We're merely... Well, okay, here's the thing. Cards on the table. We don't really like authority, so we kind of went around authority to help. We've been in this town a little while. We like these people. We don't want everybody dead, so we figured we'd help. Now we knew that you wouldn't want our help, so we skipped the whole asking you for permission part. Better to ask for forgiveness than ask permission. We did kill it. We did learn some things.
And what things did you learn?
Well, we learned that, first of all, you got a dwarf problem. Second of all, you haven't been handling it too well. And it might be related to a few other things we've been looking into. Don't want to necessarily spill all my information at once.
I think you will find that you are not in a position to be withholding information from me. As far as I see it, so far, your group have at best interfered with an investigation authorized officially by the Crown of Mithlande. At worst, you were involved. So, I suggest you adopt a more cooperative attitude.
Okay, well, first things first. We were technically acting on official business.
What official business?
We were deputized by Sheriff Maddock. And we were acting on his behalf, doing our sheriffly and deputy duty. And
the sheriff does not have the authority to supersede my own orders, and if he is going about deputizing random adventurers to go out on his behalf against my wishes, then he shall be seen to as well. And she turns around and scribbles something down on a piece of parchment on the desk.
You just sold out the sheriff.
You're going to have so many friends.
look,
You guys are doing great.
here's the thing. You got some problems. My little group also has some problems. And our interests align. Clearly, working together might help us from being a future pain in the ass to you. From here out, the only thing that could happen is benefits for yourself.
Well, as I see it, thus far, you have come to town, learned nothing that I did not already know, caused an enormous amount of disruption to the patrols that I put in place to protect the town from these wandering creatures, greatly endangering all of the denizens. Had one of these monsters slipped through while my guards were distracted chasing your floating lights about the forest last night.
You have no evidence that was us.
She looks
All
at
right.
you. She looks at you, and you get the distinct impression that she's considering hitting you. And she's sort of like, what of the rest of your group?
I assume they're hanging out back in town. They didn't really come with us.
See,
Make a deception check.
$22.
Okay. Kind of looks at you.
the problem. Oh, sorry.
I am not inclined to believe anything you say to me, but I have little enough room for more arrests on my docket this morning. So for now, let us stick to the matter at hand.
We got a lot of coals in the fire. The other group was doing some other business in the town, and we took it upon ourselves to risk our necks doing the outside the town stuff.
So, you have the summation of your assessment of the current situation is that there are undead dwarves in the area menacing the town.
At least. I do not think that the undead dwarves are the main problem. There's clearly greater forces at work.
Evidently. Do you have any other relevant information in your grand investigations that you saw fit to circumnavigate my authority?
Here's a question. You got any, were you able to recover any of the bodies?
That is not of your concern.
I'm just saying maybe we were.
There is some information, but I must preface it with a question. Do you have any magic users among your party, among your guards that are out, that may or may not have engaged with these undead dwarves, as you know exist?
And why is that relevant?
Well, it seems that these undead have a sort of either hunger or attraction to magic. Don't know quite what the deal was, but they were super interested in some blood that was spilled in the forest. And when one of my friend here lit up a spell, they got real interested in him. It was like I didn't even exist. So something about magic is getting these guys real excited.
I see. Anything else then of relevance?
Anything else you can think of? We do have some remains, but not a person. We'd have to retrieve them.
I will cooperate fully and show you where we found the bodies. You may keep me shackled during that time, if you so choose. I have a pretty reasonable idea of where it is. And we can go during daylight, where I'm sure it's not a problem to run into them.
But what is daylight? Daytime.
It's currently like
She says, if you have reasonable enough idea of where the group that you encountered were, you should have no trouble marking it on the map for me. I see no reason.
Here's another thing. You said you didn't have any magic users out in the field. How
I
many?
said nothing of the sort.
Just saying. Worst case scenario, we could be. I don't know. We could be useful as bait. We're clearly less important to you than your own people, so maybe you find some stuff out. Maybe you send us in first.
Turns, shuffles through some papers. She comes back with what appears to be a sort of a rough map of like the eastern portion of town and sort of the woods in that direction. There are some things marked on it that you see, but she kind of puts it down. She says, "I would like you to indicate the general location where you had your encounter."
Okay.
I'm gonna take my finger. Well, I'm gonna gesture that I'm still manacled.
Yes, you are.
I'm just gonna make it real obvious that like I can't actually do anything unless I'm not manacled anymore.
We'll like be real hard to give directions without hands.
I'm sure it's on that map somewhere.
She, Lieutenant Cross, if you would. And without a word, he steps forward. Walter, he unlocks your hands.
Just him?
Just him.
I'm gonna walk up and take my finger and circle around the outside of the map.
Very well. Lieutenant Cross,
Be more
put him-
specific.
put him
if
back
you'd
in
like.
irons and take him out of my sight.
Great.
And he moves forward and he manacles you and hauls you out of the tent.
Your avoided house.
Well, way to go. I'll actually show you where it is.
A few moments later, he comes back in and she says, "Let's try this again." And she...
Him? He comes.
No. She,
Oh, no,
Lieutenant comes back in.
I'm off in the distance. I'm now
He unclips one of he like unshackles your hands. He says, "I am very thin on patience, so let us make the remainder of our conversation as civil as possible." please.
Okay. I'm gonna say it was roughly about here. I'm gonna gesture. I'm gonna act. To the
Truthfully.
best of my ability.
Okay.
This is where I think it is. Not too familiar with the layout of this area, but roughly this area.
Very well. Is there anything else that you feel is relevant to share with me about your experiences so far?
I think the reason we're here, and the reason why this stuff is going on is connected. I think, can't be sure, but I think it might have something to do with the crypt in town.
Make a insight check.
Reroll that. 12.
You see one slender eyebrow, like, raises. Astute.
Yes, you wish one thing to tell. Maybe not by much.
If you have no other relevant information, then I think I have everything I need.
I don't think I have anything else.
Very well. Lieutenant, she gestures and he comes and he takes your hand to, like, reshackle you. She says, you will remain here, under watch, for the remainder of my investigation into this matter. At such a time as we are completed with our business here, you and your compatriot shall be transferred with us back to the town of Woodpine, where you will await trial by the magistrate for interference with an Inquisitor's investigation. I will look into the remainder of your compatriots to see if they likewise require official intervention. And she gives like a gesture of dismissal, and the lieutenant like begins to lead you out. So at this point, they bring you back to the tent that you had been in before, but in your guys' absence, so you kind of get, Walter's already in there when you get brought back. They have pounded like an iron stake into the ground, and they get like a set of like longer like hand and feet manacles. So your hands are basically bound together like this, and there's like a chain goes around your hip and then to your legs, keeping you from really being able to move your legs too much. And then like they chain you to the iron post.
I guess the negotiations broke down.
Don't talk to me.
That's fair.
You are the worst liar I have ever met in my entire life.
I'm not the songbird. I didn't want to give them any information. Figured we could just...
Well, you could have done a better job of lying.
So I'm effectively unable to use somatic components for spells at the moment.
Correct.
Okay.
And you don't have any material components.
That's correct.
So, verbal only spells if you want to
Yep.
try and cast. Okay, so, as you guys are in custody, we revert back to the Blue Harpy, where our remaining three are awakening. Mid-morning-ish. You slept in a little bit to, recover from your late night out.
I feel like I would have gotten breakfast for the other two and brought it back up.
So what are we gonna do?
Well, No one's come for you two yet.
It's a good start.
We could go see the sheriff.
First things first, is Alar here?
He's not.
We'll spend a couple minutes, or at least I'll spend a couple minutes, like banging on his door, seeing if it's open or not.
Yeah, he does not appear to have returned at this point.
All right, so Alar's not here, which means we have no physical evidence of anything, which is good.
Sure, that's a good thing.
No, it's a very bad thing.
They're gonna come for us sooner or later. We need to figure out what we're going to do.
We need to get information that they need. We need to crack this open.
We could talk to the door.
Do you think he'll believe our stories?
It's our best shot. He's
Oh,
the only
yeah.
one that knows anything about other doors.
I guess let's start there, and if that doesn't work, let's go get those relic hunters and see if we can.
What do we do when the guard shows up? Because they're definitely going to.
Well,
And if you say surrender, I'm not about to do that.
so I was going to say,
Honesty.
how many of them are
That's
going to
my
show
honesty.
up? How many of them are going to show up, and how many of them do you think you can take?
No.
Enough.
No. You guys
That
are
is
already on.
Not helpful or specific, but it is very comforting.
Yes.
You guys are already on her bad side. Let's try getting on people's good side. Truth. Honest. Best policy.
We'll see.
Let's go talk to our.
If we figure something out before they do that, I think we can go with them, get our friends, and
We're not gonna go with them willingly. You know that, right?
if we know something that they don't, then we can go with them, get the other two back, and get them to leave us alone.
Let's go talk to.
They're not going to get in the way of our other fights. Yeah, so let's go talk to the temple.
Yep. If nothing else, I think he'd like to know that someone's reanimating.
Yeah.
The corpses. Yeah, so we head over to the temple.
Okay. So, roughly Bartug Deep Mountain.
Yep.
Sexton of the Temple.
Yeah,
The town is distinctively more on edge today than you had noticed it yesterday. Clearly, the town was on edge to begin with, but after the ruckus that you guys caused on the eastern portion of town last night, the very few people that you do see out and about as you guys are going, basically people like quickly like exit a building and like hastily get to whatever their destination is and go inside. The like open air portion of the market is all but deserted, as the merchants haven't deemed it safe to go outside. And the feel of tension in the air is palpable. The people of Stone Mill already worried about these goings on after word has spread of like a strange racket and guards chasing people all over the woods last night, and people possibly being arrested has spread. Everyone seems very nervous. In fact, the first larger group of people that you see is when you approach the temple. There is a knot of what appears to be 10 or 15 villagers kind of gathered around back behind the low wall that surrounds the little tiny courtyard of this small temple. They're sort of gathered outside, kind of looking, craning their necks to look in the direction of the temple. Out in front of the temple, you see, flanked on either side of that large door with the emblem of Shantea on it, you see there are two of the Mythlindian Home Guard are posted on either side of it. Just like keeping an eye on the crowd.
Alright.
We've got an appointment.
We have an appointment.
We have an appointment.
I don't know. You want to go do something else?
No.
I don't know where else we're gonna go.
I'm not saying
Like,
don't
we
go
can
here.
we can go try to find the other relic hunters and see what they'll give us, but that's not gonna be quiet either.
I go up to one of the townsfolk.
Okay.
And just, what's going on? Why the crowd?
So the person kind of turns and look. The Inquisitor. She's in there. We think that the sexton's the one who's been behind whatever the weirdness is. We're waiting to see if she brings him out. We think she's going to arrest him.
What's this we business?
Everyone. That's all anybody can talk about.
But he's a person of the faith.
He claims to be, at least. All we know is mad dwarves are running around the woods hurting people, and we know the Inquisitor already talked to him once, and now she's back with guards.
Has he ever given you a reason to believe that he's not a man of the cloth? Has he ever done wrong to you or any of your neighbors?
Not until this whole business.
Do you have any evidence that he's done anything wrong?
Well, I'm not the one investigating, am I? That's the Inquisitor's job. Clearly, she thinks there's something. She's in there with him.
It sounds like you guys have all passed judgment without knowing what's going on.
Well, I'm not passing any judgment. This is the Inquisitor's job. Who are you, mister?
Okay.
I'm gonna get in the. Okay.
Take a breather.
Just saying.
I'm gonna get into the middle of the crowd. Not shout, but strongly suggest that everybody go
Here's a
home.
little paper.
Roll an intimidation.
That was 11.
You see, like, a couple of people kind of like, and like a distinctive clearance comes around you. But they don't seem to be like willing to move until one of the guards at the door kind of calls out, "Aye! What the big one said's a good idea. Go back to your homes." And some people sort of start to like filter away with much muttering.
Thank you.
Double secret notes.
Now what? Would you want to go in?
We can try.
We're gonna need to.
Alright. So the guard that spoke that, I'm gonna call to him and say, we were wondering if we could get a word with the cleric. Or the priest.
I'm afraid that's impossible. The Inquisitor is in questioning the sexton. I suggest that you folks clear off as well. There's nothing to see here.
We were asked by the Inquisitor to help with the investigation, and we feel that we may have information pertinent.
Make a persuasion.
Persuade. La, 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 la.
10.
Our luck.
And this is where we just go screaming naked into the woods.
On episode 5, we start the entire campaign over.
Okay, we're back. Full restart.
Competent characters.
He shares a glance with his companion, and he says,
It's like middle school all over again.
They all say these guys are so dumb.
He says, "Hold on a minute." And he like opens the door, goes in. The
Gotta be a good sign.
door
Right?
closes again. About 30, 40 seconds pass. He comes back out and says, "Right, the Inquisitor says she wanted to talk to you lot anyway. Stay there. She'll be through in a minute."
That's less good.
All right.
Well,
So, you guys just waiting?
Yep.
Okay. A couple of minutes pass. The doors open. From within comes Inquisitor Highhaven, along with a member of the guard who you guys are not familiar with, and they are leading before them Sexton Bartug. He's not shackled, but he is clearly like under arrest. You know, they're like kind of the other guard is sort of like leading him along. He, from what you guys know before, he's he's very arthritic or whatever. He doesn't really doesn't seem to be moving. They're not really afraid he's gonna like make a run for it. So they doesn't seem like they've seen the need to shackle him. He seems to be walking under his own free will. They come up out of the little courtyard there up to sort of near where you guys are, and the Inquisitor gives a nod to the guard who is leading the sexton, and she says, "I will join you shortly." She leans down and she says, "Dwarf, contrary to your belief, I would prefer not to disrespect the ancient relics of your people. I do have a job to do, however. Perhaps some time in incarceration will change your mind. But I warn you, with the safety of the people of this town at risk, I will not wait long. If we are forced to break our way in, we will. We shall speak again shortly." And the guard begins to lead the sexton away from you guys.
you're arresting a person of the faith? I say this like loud enough for the dwarf to
He
clearly over here.
he's looking at her, not with like open hostility necessarily, but you get sort of the same sense that you got when you spoke to him, that because she's an elf, if nothing else, he is disinclined to be cooperative with her. And he kind of says nothing to you. And she says, "I am arresting someone who at the very least is impeding an investigation which is intended to protect the safety and well-being of the people of this town. And at the very worst is involved some way. I have no desire to see any ill come to the sexton, regardless of what." She sort of turns and you see for a moment a very like weary look comes over her face. She says, "Whatever he may think of me and my kind. But I am sworn to uphold my duty. My investigation has led me to believe that there are certain avenues I must pursue, and he is currently standing in the way of that."
So you just remove those difficult obstacles in your way.
Let us digress from this. I am proceeding as I see necessary. I am glad, however, you saved me the trip of having to track you down, although there is at least one more of you that is unaccounted for. 2 of the gentlemen that you came to town with yesterday morning are currently in custody in my camp. Are you aware of this?
I was at the inn. I went to bed quite early last night.
They saw fit to create a great deal of noise and distraction, a rather alarming illusion of an assault of some sort on the eastern border of town, as my guards took it. I have spoken with them, and the one who is not overtly hostile seemed to be of the opinion that they were trying to help with the goings-on in town. And while I can certainly appreciate the intention, the methods by which their actions were carried out were reckless and could have brought a great harm to the people of Stone Mill. Therefore, they will remain in my custody. I have no evidence to suggest that the group of you were in the area. They said much the same as you have, that you remained in the inn while they ventured out. Therefore, I have no official grounds to place any of you under arrest, but know this: you will be watched very carefully from here on out. If myself or any of my subordinates feel that you are interfering further with this investigation, or acting in a way that I believe puts innocent lives of people in this village at risk, you will suffer the same fate as your friends. You will be arrested, you will be brought before the magistrate of Woodpine to stand trial. Are we clear?
I spit on the ground.
I have a few questions.
She's not the only one.
Shush. We offered to help in the investigation, and you accepted our request for help.
I allowed you to enter the town with specific instructions that you were not to leave again.
I believe part of it was aiding in the troubles that you've had in this town.
I believe my instructions were that if you heard anything that you considered of valuable intel to me while you were in town, that you were to report it to myself and my people. Perhaps I was not clear enough, and that was mistaken for permission to act on the Mythilindian Home Guard's behalf, but let me clear that up right now. I am not in the business of simply inviting strangers to partake in investigations being conducted on order of the royal authority. And I believe there is no mistaking of the fact that I was very clear that after I allowed you into the town, you were to stay within its limits.
I do remember.
A directive which your friends blatantly ignored.
I do remember those guidelines.
Specific words.
But I do feel that the situation in this town has become pretty dire. To the best of my knowledge, the little girl is still missing, and I would think that any help that would be offered would be taken. Instead of arresting literally everyone.
At the very least, I would think that you wouldn't want to be making the situation worse. Your
And-
particular actions here are pretty ill-advised.
In what way?
Well, have you seen how these townspeople are acting? They're suspicious of everyone, and you're letting them get by on rumors. All they know is people have seen dwarves. And so, one of the few people that can protect them from the undead, you're putting not only in cuffs, you're also making them distrust him. You're creating a situation where as soon as anyone suspects anyone of anything, there's going to be a mob. You're not going to be attacked just from outside. You're going to have enormous problems inside. The fact that you're hiding things from everyone, the fact that you're encouraging people's suspicions without giving them any information, the fact that you're taking the one person who can help you and making them far less likely to cooperate with you, I don't know that you're showing an awful lot of foresight here.
Make either a persuasion or an intimidation check.
Those
Whichever
are
you
both
prefer.
bad.
Hope for that.
There's an
20.
angry little gnome. Call me an elf one more time.
It is an 18.
What are you doing, persuasion or intimidation?
Persuasion.
Good. Smart.
Smart idea.
Let me tell you what I think.
I have opinions.
Just starts crying.
You should cry at the end.
So she says, she's quiet for a moment as you see her sort of mulling what you've said to her and seeming to choose her words carefully. And then she says, beginning sort of in a very quiet voice, has it occurred to you that perhaps myself and my subordinates who have been here investigating this situation since before yesterday morning might have more information about what has been going on than you do? And as she says this, there you see there's like a crackle of this like golden, newly you recognize as like divine light streaks through the sword at her hip.
I start to crackle blue.
Crackle up with this bitch!
Crackle battle.
No, I feel like I'm getting like a little heated and starting to crackle.
And through
over
like through
myself.
clenched teeth, she says, "The fact that I have arrested the sexton was done after a great deal of consideration beforehand and a great many attempts at working cooperatively with him, which he repeatedly refused. Now, ignoring the fact that at the very least your friends pulled a stunt in the woods last night, which distracted and derailed my guard's patrol duties enough that had one of the creatures that has been assaulting this town been closer and in the area, it could have gotten through our perimeter and done who knows what. I will conduct my investigation as I see fit. and as the authority of the Magister of Woodpine and the King of Mithlin Day grant me, I will no longer tolerate being berated, interfered with, and questioned by a group of random adventurers who have waltzed into this town and presumed to tell me how to do my job. If we have another discussion, you will find that I am far less pleasant. Good day. And she turns on her heel and walks away from you.
I didn't know that was possible.
Well,
You're from like the camp. You got told.
Rex.
So she just doesn't want anyone to help her with anything ever.
No, so that doesn't leave us with many suggestions.
Well, we can make everything bad.
How are we making everything bad?
I think we've made
Well,
things
we
pretty bad
need
already.
we need Bartok.
We could talk to the sheriff.
What is he gonna do?
He's got nothing.
Get yourself arrested too. It'll be fun.
At this point, that's what I'm thinking.
Are there any guards that are left?
In this area, no, they've all cleared off.
Well, the crypt's now open.
Is it?
No, it's sealed.
Well, nobody's telling us not to go near it.
I'm sorry. I am manacled to a post right now.
Shut your
I
mouth.
apologize.
I wonder what Walter would say. Probably nothing right now.
Probably dig a hole.
Probably
Just stupid shit.
Then he cast dancing lights.
Do we feel that
Pet rave.
anything would have been
Can't
left
rave it.
behind for us to investigate within the temple?
We can try.
We could try. I don't know what our next step would be besides trying to get those relic hunters,
Well, let's just check out the temple first.
or just trying to break people out of jail,
Or that.
or we could just leave.
If you need more paper, I got it.
Or
Leave
just
what?
This is for
leave.
his friend.
Yeah,
It's for me.
No.
we met those guys 2 days ago. This town is a giant mess. We're not wanted here.
Oh.
She's a
Just say
jerk.
if you need more paper, I have more paper.
We could just leave.
They're involved in this just as much as we are, and if you are suggesting that we leave, then we have more of a problem.
Plus, I believe that was one of the rules that we had.
I am now presently.
I mean, what are they gonna do?
Arrest us?
They're gonna do that if we go back to the inn. We're gonna be just like Bartok. In like 3 days, they're gonna decide that we know more than we're letting on. They're going to come arrest us.
Well, maybe we have 3 days to try to find out more information.
From who?
I guess it's time to pay a visit to the Rala hunters.
I mean, I don't think we're gonna be able to find a way into the crypt if we just go start mucking around the temple. And even if we did, I don't know that Bartok's gonna appreciate that.
Was Bartik here?
I mean, he was willing to go get locked up over it.
That's
So
okay.
presumably,
We can have off-screen conversation, right?
Mhm.
Like, I'll just keep it to notes, just so it's easier, so it doesn't interrupt.
You're talking about like between
Well,
two.
while we're
you
like,
guys can certainly.
we are this right now,
Yes.
like locked up in prison.
Now, I mean, I'll like if you guys want to have a conversation, we can shift scene with you guys for a little bit.
No, I think they're fine.
I was hoping to work with the Inquisitor.
well,
Really?
I think it's for the best that we don't. If you had been able to talk to Bartok, we might have been able to get into the crypt. And instead, she wants no help from anyone, and she's going to let the townspeople scream themselves up into a frenzy.
Then it looks like we're only having a couple options here. Either we talk to the relic hunters and get into a fight, or we go to that camp and get into a fight.
Or we go look around in the temple and hope for the best. But that seems questionable at best.
Well,
We've done plenty of things our way. Nula, what's your plan?
I walk into the temple and I will go spend 5 minutes praying to my god.
Okay.
And then just take a general walk around the temple and just see if anything sticks out.
I can need just the interior of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Make an investigation check.
19.
So within the sort of the main chamber of the temple, you see. I guess with regards to what, when you say something that sticks out, what do you like?
Like if papers were moved aside in the scuffle or something was dropped.
Okay. Yeah. So you don't really see anything of any particular interest in the the main chamber. It's pretty much exactly as it was the previous day. The few little shrines to some of the various more popular deities in the area, the collection basin, the door in the back where there's presumably other chambers, other portions of the temple that are not like the common area. But within that that main portion, you don't find anything that strikes you as suspicious or anything like that. You don't see any signs of like a scuffle or anything like that. Just as you saw him come out, it seems like they had a conversation with the sexton and then led him from the temple under his own power. No signs of violence were had here. They didn't force, exert any force on him.
I then walk out of the temple and be like, I didn't see anything. So what were your plans?
We can go pick a fight with the relic hunters, or we can go pick a fight with the guards. Or we can go try to stir up some other kind of trouble.
Let's go talk to the relic hunters. See what information they have. It's the only group we haven't talked to yet, and Inquisitor lady doesn't want our help anyway.
Sure.
At least then we may have more information to help Bill, Brom, and Walter out. Maybe we'll get some information and we can pass an olive branch to Inquisitor.
Doesn't sound like she wants an olive branch.
She wants a whole tree, but...
we know there's something necromantic. No, we know there's something that smelled bad in their camp. And we know that the necromantic stuff that we found in the woods smelled bad. It's not out of the question that someone in the camp, potentially the Inquisitor, is involved in this.
We found out that it smelled bad from Scooter.
Scooter.
He was probably with
Alar.
Ayla.
He's missing.
Well, maybe we can wait a day or two and Aylar can find his way home.
He might have just left.
And they're going to be sitting there until they take them out of the camp. Because like she said, there's the trial happens. And
I'm trying to remember what each of you... Woodpine.
Woodpine? And that's
believe
outside of
that's
the village itself.
That's she seems to be indicating that it's a different town.
It's a
It's
different
another
town.
town somewhere.
That's what I would
Right.
would come to.
It's not a town that you are familiar with, but it is.
It's like
She's the way she talks about it.
it's like they're taking
It's
them.
a bigger, probably a bigger town somewhere. There's a magistrate there, so it's it's a little bit of a more.
They're taking them. They're going to be taking them out of this camp sooner or later, and we need to do something soon.
They're not going to do that before they figure out what's going on here, unless more guards come from.
Well,
Wherever.
regardless, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to the Blue Harpy. Try to find the relic hunters.
They're
and
not at the Blue Harpy.
they're at the other inn. But try to meet up
The Shanty Inn.
or hope that
Mill Street Inn.
Mill Street Inn.
Alar
The
meets up
le-
with us.
The less than fortunate inn.
Let's give him the rest of today to at least try to find us.
What's the approximate dimensions of the camp?
Camp?
Length, width, where we're at. If we have a visible rough idea of where it is.
It's vaguely circular, not kind of like an oblong shape. They sort of just hashed it out of the open area. It's not massive. It's maybe only from the radius, right? From like the center to the outside.
Yeah.
So like the radius is maybe 50 feet. So it's diameter. The whole the camp in any given area is fluctuates in the ballpark of 100 feet across. It's kind of a tightly knit little bundle of tents that they've put up. The like little corral area where they have their horses is larger, but that's sort of like adjacent to the camp rather than like part of the main camp itself.
Okay.
All right, so you guys are going to the Mill Street.
Street Inn.
Okay. All right. Anything you guys are doing back in the camp over the next couple of hours?
We're currently having a heated conversation about the objective benefits of doing anything while in the tent.
Okay.
But I don't think a consensus has been reached.
All right, so conspiratorially muttering away, you guys will continue to argue. Okay, so we'll revert back to you guys then. Mill Street Inn. It's about not quite lunchtime. And you guys left mid-morning, 10:30ish from the Blue Harpy. You went over to the temple. You yelled at the Inquisitor. You checked out the temple. You've kind of reconvened, and you come to the Mill Street Inn. Like most of the rest of the town at this point, there does not really seem to be anybody present. The barkeep is there. Bert, who you had met the other night, he was the first one who included you into the like dwarf rumors that had been going on. And there is currently only one other person in the tap room as you guys are entering. Not a person you recognize. Bert sort of like looks up. Oh, come in, get a drink. Let me fix you something. He's seen you before, right? It was you.
No, it was me and Alar.
It was you and Alar. Okay, so
Yeah.
he has not seen any of you yet.
They are total strangers.
Total strangers. Come in. I thought I wasn't gonna see a customer all day. And what do you have? Take a seat, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mm.
Do you have root beer?
Oh. got, I've got this, and he pulls up a kind of a dusty bottle of a dark brownish looking liquid, and he goes, it's like a syrupy thing. Not quite root beer, but I'll do you.
I'll try it. Thank you.
Slides it across to you.
Tough day?
Well, with all the going on, people aren't really wanting to leave their homes.
What did you hear?
Well, if you're all of it, there's spooks out in the woods. People have been getting attacked. The home guards investigating, trying to figure out what's happening. And a couple of people came through here the other, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes ago. Told me that the Inquisitor's taken the sexton into custody.
What?
Yes.
What?
I don't know what's going on, but all the rumors of dwarves going around here, and now she's taken him. Maybe he had something to do with it.
Are you sure that is? He's the person with the claw.
Yeah, but you never know. He came here from one of the dwarven villages up in the mountains years ago, and he's been living here, but maybe he's still got loyalties to his people, and someone up there's doing something. You never can tell.
Seems pretty far-fetched.
Whew, I don't know, I just poured the drinks. It's up to the Inquisitor to figure out all the ooga booga.
Everyone has a lot of faith in that Inquisitor.
You don't get to be an Inquisitor by not being good at what you do.
But do you know anything about her?
Not really.
But yet you pass judgment of saying that she's a higher person just because she's an Inquisitor?
You don't get to be an Inquisitor for nothing.
A lot of crappy people can become anything that they choose to be.
Suppose maybe that's true.
Fairly true. I get up and I go sit at one of the other tables.
Excuse my friend, it's been a long morning.
No worries.
Speaking of people who have found interesting lifestyles, do you know of any relic hunters that may be about these parts?
Relic hunters? Well, not as such, but there's that trio that's been staying here the past week or so. They certainly been asking a lot of questions, like they're interested in what's going on. And they're definitely armed well enough to be the sort friends of yours.
No, we were just trying to get information, hoping that they might be able to fill us in on what's going on. We were asked by the sheriff to help in this situation.
Oh, Sheriff Maddock then.
Yeah.
I believe they're up in their room. Do you want me to go and fetch them?
That'd be wonderful, thank you.
Okay, well, no, yeah, that's no problem. Who should I tell them is inquiring? Just business of the sheriff, or have you lot got names?
You could say that, some, what do you want to say? How should we describe ourselves? I guess friends of the sheriff may.
Let's go with curious bystanders.
Yeah.
Weird, but okay. 1 minute.
They'll figure it out.
And he zip, 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 out from behind the bar, and you hear the rapid, like, feet going up the stairs. And a couple of moments of silence go by, and you hear, like, a...
We need to figure out what we're going to tell them. And what we don't want to tell them.
I didn't want to say that we were part of the Inquisitor for fear that they were.
I mean about what we know.
Oh.
They're not going to give us anything for free.
A minute or so passes, and Bert comes back down and says, "Oh, yeah, I was right. They're up there. They said they'll be right down."
All right, thank you.
Of
And I
course.
put like a gold on them.
And he gestures to the two of you. "Sure I can't get you anything?"
No.
Not now.
"Very well. If you change your mind, you know where to find me." And he's like, he just goes back to like busying himself behind the bar.
I would like to go outside and just do a lap around the building
Okay.
and then come back.
So the building is like nestled into like a kind of a row of buildings. So it's more like
I'm just gonna take a look on either side and make sure
no problem. All right, so
they're not.
And I
bolting.
did give him a gold. I don't know if you.
Kel goes outside, and you kind of like go when you look and you're trying to see if anybody comes like sprinting out.
Yep.
And as he's outside, you guys hear the footfalls of several sets of feet from upstairs, and 3 individuals descend the steps. The one in the lead is a human male. He is dressed in kind of nondescript, dark-colored leathers. He has a what appears to be like a rapier at his hip, and something of like almost like a bandolier of daggers across his chest. He's got close-cropped, like dark brown hair. That it looks like kind of somebody took basically like a straight razor too on both sides and just left just a very shaggy or short cut tuft at the top. Behind him is another human man, completely bald, and you would almost suspect that he's got like some sort of blood somewhere in his bloodline of like a ogre or a giant or something. Like, he's huge. He's almost as big as Osrius. He stands maybe like 6.5 feet tall, like wide shoulders. He actually, as he comes down the stairs, he's like at an angle slightly, as the stairs are a little narrow, and like his shoulders are too broad to fit down the stairs. He just wears like a simple cloth, like cotton tunic, and pants, leather boots, and he has like heavy cloth wrapped around both of his like wrists. And the third individual is a female. She is wearing a set of grayish blue, like traveling robes almost, and she has a hood which is pulled over her head and quite low, so you can just see like kind of the little bit of a reflection of her eyes where the light is striking them underneath the hood, and like the lower half of her chin. Her skin, kind of what you can see of it is like very like rosy pink, and the 3 of them sort of come down the stairs and move as one unit, sort of over to stand kind of a few feet away, and the one who is in the lead kind of looks the 3 of you over, and he says, "So, they told us that you were on the business of the sheriff, eh?"
We're trying to actually figure out what's happening in this town, and you 3 seem to not be helping matters.
"Oh?" He turns. "Hear that, boys? We seem to be not helping matters. And what specifically have we done to not help matters in this town, my good lady?"
Is he from Brahm's hometown?
He has a very similar accent to Brahm.
The Inquisitor's been looking into matters and hasn't seemed to make any headway.
Well, the Inquisitor is a little bit of a bitch, if you ask me. But what do I know? That doesn't cover what your beef is with me and the boys here. The boys who, like, clearly one of them is definitely a girl. So, again, what is it that you think that we did that is not helping situation here?
You seem like you have ulterior motives. That there's something in all of this for you.
All right, and what's in it for all of you? I'm very interested in what we're doing here, and the Inquisitor. So, but we talk about your motives for a minute.
Our motives?
Yeah, your motives. We was up there taking an afternoon nap. You just come in here telling us you're on business with the sheriff, and then you're questioning our motives and their ulteriors. That's very rude.
My motive is to try to provide safety and peace to this town. There is still a little girl who's missing.
That is a shame. Little girls should not go missing. And me and the boys here would very much like to see whatever has been bothering this town safely removed so that they are safe. So, I don't know what you're hassling us for.
We were hoping that you might have more information since you seem to be more knowledgeable in things of older natures.
Interesting. And would you three then also be having interest in older things?
My interest in keeping people safe. I could care less about the history of the items or squat. I just want to make sure that the little girl makes it back safe and that the people of this town can get back to their normal daily lives.
Well then. What do you think, boys? I'm pretty pretty agreeable to that. Thoughts? Carlisle? Rana? Carlisle, the big one, goes, huh. I don't know. See what they know. And the other one, Rana, goes, and turns and goes over to the bar and sits down. You'll have to excuse Rana. She's very rude. So let's say that you folks and us folks share a common interest of removing whatever it is that is bothering this town. And let us also presume, since you are here talking to me, that we equally share a dislike for the Inquisitor and the ship's mast of a stick that is all the way up in her ass. We together so far?
I stand up and be like, yes. No, it's just like I felt like I was just like kind of like low, like a little low to the ground, just standing up behind me a little, and like, yes.
Okay. Well then, how about a fair exchange of information? And then maybe we see where we go from there. I have not seen any of you folks around, and we've been getting around town pretty good since we've been here. How long you been in Stone Mill?
2 days, right? Been 2 days.
This is our third.
This is your second day.
This is second.
This is 8 leaf fall.
2 days.
Yeah, alright, well that explains it. And pray tell, what exactly have you uncovered in your investigations into what has been happening here?
figured out where all the missing trinkets of the market went.
Oh,
Goblin.
gob. Okay, well, I suppose that's not helpful at all.
It was a concern of the townspeople.
Okay, well, I'm not concerned with every concern of the townspeople. I guess let's say that. The big picture. What do you got there? Anything? Anything fun?
Well, the cleric of this, not cleric, priest of this town has unfortunately been arrested.
We heard about that. Yeah. Inquisitor's been real interested in that guy. He didn't really take a shine to us, so we've been letting that one play out. But it was only a matter of time before he got tossed in the clink. He was not being very helpful.
He seemed pretty nice to us. Why wasn't he so nice to you?
I don't know. Maybe he didn't like the way we looked. What can I tell you? Like I said, Rana is not very polite.
She hasn't said a word yet.
Hey, Rana. You got a word for these people? And she, without turning to look at you, makes a rude hand gesture in your direction. See? Rana's a bit of an acquired taste. What can I say? Well, so that we don't waste all day long here talking, what exactly do you have in mind in coming to talk to us?
Have you seen the things out in the woods?
Yeah. Have you seen the things out in the woods?
I have not, but townsfolk say that they're dwarves of some kind.
Well, the townsfolk are, what's the phrase? The, stopped sundial is right twice a day? Sometimes they get some stuff right. Doesn't always mean it's for the right reasons. But, well, let's put it this way. If you people have seen what's out in the woods, and you know that the Inquisitor is been particularly interested in his Grand Clothiness Sexton Bartug, then perhaps you know what it is that she has been interested in that he has been refusing to acquiesce to her.
I'm assuming you mean the crypt.
Holy Christ, this is getting very tiresome talking in code. The lady wants to get into that mausoleum, and he's not having it, right?
That is fair.
Okay. You look like, you don't like her, so I'm gonna go out on a limb, because we could use some help. The Inquisitor is, unfortunately for her, and luckily for us, quite obsessed with following the procedure of the law. Which means that she is going to give Sexton Bartug ample opportunity to continue to not let her into that mausoleum before she eventually has just cause to break in there herself. Fortunately, me and the boys are not so lawfully compelled, if you take my meaning. Like, looks at you guys pointedly. Seems to me that the clue that everybody's chasing down has got something to do with that mausoleum. The Inquisitor, well-intentioned as she might be, is not doing anything quickly. because the law says she's not supposed to. Eh. So, in the interest of speeding up the process of protecting the people of the town, we think we're gonna go do her job for her a little bit early. How you folks feel about that?
Not happy about it, but it seems on par with your interests.
Okay. Well then, if we all understand each other perfectly well, then I think a temporary alignment of our two groups can be had. The three of us, three of you. Why don't you plan to meet us tonight at the bridge that crosses the river here? And we'll go and see ourselves a mausoleum, eh?
How do we know you backstab us?
How do I know you're not gonna backstab me?
Well, my compatriots and I will discuss it, and if we decide it's a good idea, we'll be on the bridge.
Okay, then we have an agreement. Nobody backstabs anybody, nobody's gotta tell the Inquisitor nothing, and maybe we all get out of here with what we want at the end, eh?
Alright.
Spectacular. Alright, boys, let's go. And the three round up and they head out of the tavern. And I think that's where we'll stop for tonight.
We're in a prison tent.
Way to go, guys.
Well,
We did our best.
your consequences have actions.
What?
Your actions have consequences,
Oh, yeah.
but I said it backwards.
My consequences are about to have actions.
Look,
Depending on
I
how
feel
they
like
go.
a lot of it was way blown out of proportion. All I did was
Think
try
of
to
it.
trick a
Think
cop.
of it this way: if there was like a homicide investigation going on, and the local police were like looking into it, and like literally the six of you guys rolled up and were like, "Hey, we're gonna help," and they're like, "No, we're the police.
I'm okay.
Don't."
Love that man.
And then you proceeded to like mess with the SWAT team
It's like
and yell at them in public. How would that go for you?
Not gonna lie, one of our rejected possibilities was literally, I said, what if we go like the Batman Commissioner Gordon round and be like, you need us. We can operate outside the law.
Alrighty, well,
Mug time.
I don't even know if we're not gonna do that. There's 9 people watching, and most of them are us, I think.
Nobody gets a mug.
Nobody gets a mug tonight. We'll
mug.
save that one. We'll save that one for like a special occasion. And
Special.
I didn't open the voting or the whatevering before, so we're wrapping. We will have a mug to give away at some point.
So you'll have to tune into every episode
Tune
ever.
Keep tuning in until we give away a
Just in
mug.
case.
the mug will be given away as long as the original cast and their characters are still alive
Count
and
the
not
mug,
in prison.
Stay for the
For death.
Perma prison.
for the plot.
Well, an interesting episode to say the least. We will pick up next week as part of the party has aligned themselves
Oh, God.
with
Let's not use the word alive.
the other relic hunters.
We might kill them.
Part of the party is in custody, and Alar is
In the woods with a
hiding
head.
out in the woods with a severed zombie head.
Wilson.
Too many weird possibilities.
All right, well, thank you guys for joining us. As I said at the beginning of the show, keep an eye out. We are going to start releasing our back episodes on YouTube This coming Monday, episodes 1 through this one will go up on YouTube, and then every Monday after that, the previous week's episode will go up on YouTube, and the live episode will be on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Same bat time, same bat place. And let us do this.
Same table times.
Same table time, same table place. Let me pass that around. We're going to do our voting for the Golden D20. So anybody who is in chat, if you so choose, you can throw some bids in there for somebody who you think should win the Golden D20. If you are joining us new this week or forgot, the Golden D20 is something that we award to a player who had a particularly cool roleplay moment or action that they took in combat, or just a funny line or something like that. The players all take a vote. I cast a tie-breaking vote if necessary, and we poll the audience if you guys want to throw it.
I was gonna flick it at him.
Could have asked me.
After that whole rigmarole in the beginning of the episode, giving him shit for not having a pencil.
It's at the end. I didn't need it.
Also, that might be 100% illegible. I apologize.
Please, I read his every week. I'll handle it.
I'm like 2 beers in, and they're starting to wear off, but like handwriting is awful.
That. We have some chat sounding in.
I'm getting nothing but.
We have chat.
Oh, there we go.
Casting a vote for Brahm.
For bosoms.
For bosoms.
Is Walter the only one that's been operating this entire time under the assumption that they really don't want our help?
It's kind of obvious that
They clearly don't want your help.
Okay.
What gave me that suspicion? The fact that every time we're like, we want to help, they're like, we don't want your help.
We just got chewed out in front of a church.
Can we
Inside
just do the Judge Dredd method? I am the dog.
I have everybody's. Yes.
I am the law.
All right. We
I'd
have.
rather go for the Judge Dredd method.
We have.
Walter, I don't know because I'm at work.
Wow, doesn't count. We have one for Brahm for being a disguised F face.
Damn it!
We're keeping it PG. We've decided.
What?
We're gonna control the F words.
I'm confused, but...
Brahm for being a disguised F word face.
Oh.
Damn it.
Osrius for
hey.
driving the action and staring everyone down.
Yeah.
Kel for what should have been successful lawyering.
That was good.
If only the Inquisitor wasn't a completely unreasonable individual.
That scared me. I pooped a little.
Alar.
Are we getting everybody here?
Who gave Alar?
There's more. There's a pun. Alar for being ahead of the game / staying out of danger.
That was you.
I swear to God, if there's a
voted
vote,
for her last week.
if there's a vote for Albini, I'll quit.
And Nula for attempt at diplomacy.
So everybody got a...
No, not everybody got one. There's 5 people playing. There were 5 votes. Walter got shit.
That's what chat's for.
Yes, we did get a vote for Brahm in the chat for bosoms. So that'll be the tie-breaking vote. And just because I always like to read them, my vote does not get cast because we use chat to break the tie. But had I had the tie-breaking vote, which I almost did, my vote was for Osrius for, quote, I've never seen someone cry so much.
That was great. Keep that going.
Keep the grind going.
So, Brahm for bosoms is our golden D20 for next week.
Bing, bing.
Maybe you could...
At the end of this episode, when we upload it to YouTube, after the credits, I want us to put like Jemima's sweet little return.
It's like an adventure thing.
All right.
Sweet hips, that's what it was. Jemima's sweet hips.
Sweet hips.
Jemima's sweet hips will return.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us. Please join us again next week. Spread the word about our show. We require your validation. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog if they have.
Just go to your local Walmart and shout Tabletop Legends over and over and over.
I mean, if you do it enough, somebody might tune in.
But thank you. We will see you next week at 7 p.m. right here on Proficiency Bonus. And make sure you watch all of their other shows that are every day of the week.
All that other stuff.
I love you, but not in a weird way. Good night, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Peace out.